Hey everybody, I'm Joshua.
And I'm Caleb.
I heart NY. What the heck is NY? I heart nasty yogurt. I heart nocturnal yoga. Neutered yaks. I heart neutered yaks. The bell's back. Yes.
No, I love Nye. Nye's my buddy. Shout out to Nye.
Why on earth are you wearing a hearted shirt for your buddy? That's weird.
All right, today we'd like to talk about love, and not the kind of love you see in these romantic comedy movies that Josh cries in all the time.
No, I don't. As many of you know, in pop culture today, we have this idea of what love is, how we can fall into it, head over heels. The first time we see her walking in slow motion with all of the wind in her hair, I know she's for me. But guess what?
Yeah.
That's called infatuation. It's not love. So there.
Well, if you can so easily fall into love, then you could probably just as easily fall out. And we see that with record rates of divorce in the world as well as in the church, that people have started to equate happiness with love. And they get married, and guess what? After some time, they're not happy anymore because the world doesn't revolve around them, and then they want out.
Well, that's the thing, is that infatuation is based out of lust. And, well, infatuation fades. But see, love doesn't fail.
That's true.
Love is a choice.
That's true. Now, not all lust is sexually based. That's true. You could lust for power. You can lust for food. You can lust for all these different things.
Like neutered yaks.
Like neutered yaks. But Matthew 6:21 says, "For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also." So the question is, where is your desire? Where is your heart leading to? If it's for all these other things, then it's of the world, it's not of God.
Today in marketing, sensuality is used as one of the number one forms of pushing love.
That's true.
Creating this environment of lust, the perfect individual in the perfect setting. When I see her, when I see him, the glistening bodies, all this stuff, that's pushed us this idea of love. And in fact, it affects how we portray ourselves.
Yeah, and you see people taking selfies. They're trying to get the perfect angle, make themselves just look like the movie stars. And we kind of idolize what the world says is beautiful. These movie stars, they get surgical enhancements. They get, they're surgically engineered, top, puffy upper lips. And, they become an idol to us. And then we think we have to model ourselves after them. We have to be thinner than toothpicks to look beautiful. But that's not God's standard of beauty. The Lord looks on the heart, remember?
We have no problem with your augmentations. That's not what we're saying. We're saying let's clearly focus on what love actually is and where your value is actually found.
Yes.
Because if all of your value is centered around this ability to create sensuality, this ability to be viscerally accepted for that, guess what? One day you're going to get old, and one day it's going to fail and fall, and one day there's no more skin to be pulled back into surgery.
That's right, and even King Solomon mentioned this. He says, beauty fades. He says, young men, don't focus on these things. You gotta focus on the heart. Well, in popular culture, we see this rise of feminism. They're talking about empowerment. Women, if you wanna feel empowered, you have to get naked. You have to show skin. As long as you have mental control over another person's mind, then that is somehow empowering you and you're feeling strength. Well, how sick is that to draw someone into temptation and sin, that's the only way you can feel powerful? That's not what God has for us, is it?
It's not what he has for us. I really think that when you look at lust versus love, it can be summed up into one very simple concept. Yes. Lust is something you want for yourself.
Yes.
And love is something you want to give to somebody else. And that's, I think, how we can sum it up, whether it's food, whether it's sensuality, any of this stuff. When we are looking at something for what can benefit for us, that's lust. We are craving something for us, but love is sacrificial, and it's something that you give out for someone else. It's that focus and choice. In 1 John 3:16, it says, by this we know love, because he laid down his life for us.
That's right.
And we also ought to lay down our lives for the brethren. It's hilarious, I think, that John 3:16 and 1 John 3:16 both tell us about how God loved the world and gave his only son.
In 1 John 4:7-9, it says, beloved, let us love one another. For love is of God, and everyone who loves is born of God and knows God. He who does not love does not know God, for God is love. And this, the love of God, was manifested toward us, that God has sent his only begotten Son into the world that we might live through him.
And a lot of times these verses can become trite if you've been in the church for a while. And we
Yeah.
kind of use that expression like, well, don't give me the Sunday school answer. But in a day and age where really the idea and definition of true love is lost, we have to turn to 1 Corinthians 13, 4
That's
through
right.
8.
Yeah.
And I say it because if we don't reiterate it, then we don't expect it.
Yeah.
And if we don't expect it, then we don't hold ourselves to the standard of actually receiving love. And that says, love is patient. It is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. If you are not living that life,
Yeah.
if your output of love does not mirror those traits, if your expectations of what you're receiving for love are not held to those standards, then you're being sold a lie.
That's right.
And you're living in something that will fail. And when you wake up one day and it's all gone and you don't realize why, it's because you did not hold yourself to what Yeshua said love truly is.
So join us next time. Remember the scriptures, fall back on that. Don't be inundated with the world and the message they're giving. That's why you have to inundate yourself with the Word of God. So when all the flashing lights and all the news stories and all the commercials show you to believe this, you're not moved by it. Your foundation is on the Messiah.
And this is why I love you all, biblically. Can I say that?
Yeah.
Okay, it's like, I can't say that I know them biblically. That's the one I can't say.